Today we've got the horrible, horrific stories, we've got the good, exciting stories, and then everything in between. So we are going to talk about the deadliest shooting that has happened to Jewish Americans in the history of the US of A. Halloween just passed. You can check out my scrubs. Yes, these are bats on my scrubs. Happy Halloween to all of those who celebrated it. How much candy should you really be letting your kids eat? A nursing PSA for y'all. And 26 dates. A traveling nurse went on 26 dates. Q the nurse was one of them. Why did you go on 26 dates with 26 different guys? Find out in today's nursing news.
You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Hey! Welcome back and thank you very much for joining me. My name is Swadik Mayanja, but you guys can call me Q. And yes, I am Q the nurse, and on this channel I bring you news, current events, and fun topics for nurses everywhere. Per usual, we will have the timestamp for every single story, so if there's something that you're just itching to get to, go ahead and scroll down, look at the timestamp, go to that, and then come back and watch the rest of the nursing news. But for the rest of y'all, settle in. We've got the stories for y'all today. Starting with the worst. Deadliest shooting in American history towards Jewish Americans. Horrific story, but I want to tell you what happened for those who haven't. I know it's a week out already from that shooting, and if you look in the news, you'll feel like it didn't even happen because of everything that is going on with the midterm elections. And I know it's super important, but it's so bad, it's so horrific that in this country today, in 2018, these shootings happen so often that it takes less than a week for us to forget about the deadliest shooting that has ever happened towards the Jewish Americans. It is just the saddest thing ever. So let me tell you exactly what happened, and then we'll go talk about the response next. So the accused gunman opened fire in a Jewish synagogue on a weekend when they were doing a birthing ceremony. It was horrific. So authorities say that he was 46 years old, and he stormed the Tree of Life congregation synagogue in Squirrel neighborhood, shouting hate for Jews and killing worshippers in a 20-minute attack. I just hate that this is something that we have to talk about. I hate that this is something that actually happened. It is just horrific. It hurts me to the core of who I am. So many of the members there at the day of the shooting were there for a naming ceremony, which marks the beginning of a baby's journey in the Jewish faith. 11 lives were taken Saturday morning. 2 other worshippers were injured, and 4 officers were injured when they tried to come and subdue the assailant. It is a horrific time. First responders got hurt. The actual people at the place of worship got hurt. At the synagogue got hurt. 11 people dead. 11 people dead when they went with the intention of celebrating a new baby into the community, a new person, welcoming someone into the community, a ceremony to literally welcome them into the community at that day, at that service. Some maniacal, crazy right-winger came in shouting hate for the Jews and went on a 20-minute killing spree. This is the America that we are living in today, and I know I just said that we are distracted by the million other things that are happening, but it is right. Make this vote count. This is one of the most important midterm elections in our lifetime. We cannot allow this to continue. Use your vote to fight back this bullshit. We cannot have these guns in our community. We cannot have these deranged human beings have the ability to get these guns. It is just insane. It is insane. Charged with 29 criminal counts, including 11 federal hate crime charges, another 11 counts of using a firearm to carry a maximum penalty of death. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady is seeking a death penalty. The thing that gets me with all of these shootings, is that these people go and attack these people at their most vulnerable places. Just think to yourself, and just for a hot second, think to yourself, where are the safest places I can be outside of my home in a civil country? There are 3 places that come to my mind. It's like a school, a place of worship, and the hospital. And many, the schools are, and there's, you can't count them. More school shootings happen every single day that you can't even cover them because that's all you would be doing is covering school shootings. We know too much of these school shootings. And then when Obama was president, when the crazy man that went into the Baptist church and killed all those black people because he hated black people. Now it's some crazy, insane, maniacal right-winger going into a synagogue to kill Jews because he thinks that Jews are responsible for everything wrong in his life. This is the world we're living in, and it pains me, it hurts me, it aches, right? As nurses, we know our life goal, our careers, what we do every single day is try to make the world a better place by making the people in the world better, safer, healthier. And then it just takes one crazy dude, one crazy right wing, one crazy insane person to destroy all of it in seconds. And then to do it at a place of worship. I hate these stories. Ladies and gentlemen, please go out to vote. Use your vote to combat this. We need gun control. We need gun control. Make gun control an issue that you cannot budge on. Do not let your representative come and tell you, no, we need more guns to keep people safe. With that being said, let's move on to the response of this shooting and how the world, and specifically how Donald Trump has responded to this, to the insane shooting. So the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, calls the killing at Tree of Life Synagogue the single deadliest attack on Jewish Americans in U.S. history. Insanity. And the reason they can say this is because they've been tracking this for 40 years. This is a historic 60% rise in anti-Semitic incidents from 2016 to 2017, the biggest single year increase in reported anti-Jewish hate since they started tracking such data almost 40 years ago. And we think that we are in a country with progress, where every day you want to become better. Every day you think you are becoming better, helping the community, the people around you, this country become better. But no, in the 40 years since this has been tracking from 2016 to 2017, the worst, the highest jump in these acts was from 2016 to 2017. Is it a coincidence that we have the man that we have in office, Donald J. Trump? Is it a coincidence? I think not. With all of that being said, I just want you guys to watch a mini clip of John Iadarola from the Young Turks responding to everything that has happened in this past couple of weeks. The bomb threats that have been going to all of these Democrats, these big name Democrats, Obamas, the Clintons, all of them, right? All this talk about how George Soros and the Democrats are responsible for the caravan coming from Guatemala all the way up to the US. That is the Democrats' fault, and the shooting. This is what he just says it so eloquently, so beautifully. I just want you to watch his response because this is exactly how I've been feeling for forever. Please take a minute and just hear him out.
Because we're going to talk about how the numbers have changed, these anti-Semitic attacks. I know some people want to minimize it, but it is a serious problem. And we said when Donald Trump was campaigning that if he gets into office, this will embolden these sorts of people. Victory, having all political power in this country will not be enough for them. They will be sent after specific targets, and that is what we're seeing week after week now. And in very particular ways, this guy on Gab was spreading the conspiracy theories about the caravan being funded by Jewish people in America, which isn't just something that weirdos talk about on social media. Congressman Getz was spreading that on Twitter as well. On Fox News, they're talking about that, trying to make these links. People listen, some of these people are insane.
It's on Fox today, today.
Exactly. And so I don't wanna hear him come out and say, hate is wrong, don't hate people. Him at this point, him saying pretty much anything would be useless. But if he's going to say something, I want him to come out and say, if you hate Jewish people, I don't want your support. If you believe that Jewish people are behind conspiracies, if you think they're secretly controlling things, if you think that they are invading America with Mexicans, I don't want your support. I don't want anything to do with you. And furthermore, if you think there's any ambiguity about whether Nazis are good or bad, I don't want your support. Don't come to my rallies. Don't wear my hat. Don't go to my website. website,
Who's
don't tweet
David
MAGA.
Duke, though? I've never heard of
Exactly.
him.
If you wanted to be unambiguous, you could be unambiguous. Say that African Americans are every bit as American and patriotic as us. Don't attack them at my rallies. Don't be shouting racial slurs at them. The media is a fundamentally important part of America. We would be far worse off and probably would not still have democracy if not for them. So do not say that CNN sucks. Don't go after specific journalists. If you have any inclination whatsoever to send a bomb to CNN, never ever associate yourself with me or my party again. We do not want you. Ambiguity is easy. Similarly, being unambiguous would be easy too. He chooses not to do that because he desperately wants your support.
And that's the president, right? Oh yeah, that's what we hope for. But what about Republicans?
That's what I'm talking about. That is what we need to hear from our president. He needs to disavow these human beings. Yes, I am doing this. I do these YouTube shows. I do the nursing news because I want to have a conversation with anyone and everyone that's on the other side of whatever the conversation is. Vote yes on one, whether there is a gun control, whatever it is, I want to have that conversation. But there you have to draw a line in the sand and say, I will not associate, I do not want anything to do with someone that has specific beliefs. And that is, if you think that Jewish people are the devil, if you think that black people are less than you, if you think there are certain things you are not, I cannot convince you of, I do not want to associate with you if you believe certain things. And he just said it just the best way ever, because it is so easy. It is too easy for Donald Trump to get on his podium like he does for every single goddamn rally that he does to say, if you believe X, Y, and Z, if you believe that it is the Jews' fault for doing, for the caravan, if you believe that black people are less than you, if you believe whatever, I do not want your support. That would change a lot. Because I do not think it's a coincidence from 2016 to 2017 that the numbers of anti-Semitic and anti-Jewish hate crimes have gone up. I don't think it's a coincidence with that and Donald Trump and all of his rallies and all of the hate that he spews every single goddamn day from his podium and his Twitter account and everything that he does. I just do not think it's a coincidence. Jeez and Lord. Okay, so moving on to the nurses of the week. And these are nurses of the week because of their strength and their bravery. I think it's really important to talk to healthcare workers about this situation when insane, huge terrorist acts happen here in the States. Because when these acts happen, when these mass shootings happen, when these bombings happen, and these assailants, these people who are doing the crimes, the worst crimes that you can imagine, when they are harmed, they do end up going to any hospital. And the nurses, the doctors that are at the hospital have to treat these people, these human beings that have done the worst crimes you can imagine, as if they were every other patient they have ever taken care of. And this might be the hardest thing I can ever imagine to do. I don't know what I would do. And at this hospital, being in the same community, there were many nurses, healthcare providers, doctors that are Jewish, that are part of the congregation in which he just shot up. And these nurses and doctors, because they were on duty, were needed to take care of the assailant. It is insane. I just don't know how I could wrap my head around it, but kudos to every single one of the healthcare providers that were able to take care of this person. Coming from Dr. Jeffrey Cohen, the president of the hospital, he was quoted by saying, he was taken to my hospital and he's shouting, I want to kill all the Jews. The first three, he continues on by saying that the first three people who took care of him were Jewish. Another nurse whose father is a rabbi came in from a mass casualty drill and took care of this gentleman. Understand this. The doctors, the nurses, the healthcare providers that are in the hospital, that are also part of the congregation, that are also Jewish, and it doesn't even matter. You don't have to be associated with some of the people that were attacked. Being in that hospital, taking care of someone you know just committed a mass shooting must be one of the hardest things ever. If you ever worked in a hospital and you taken care of someone that had to be escorted by some guards and iron chains, and you do get this frightening fear of, I don't know what this man does, but I'm going to deliver my care as best as I know how to. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this man that has hurt other people, that made this lady that has hurt other people suffer. I'm going to do everything in my power to make him or her as healthy as possible. Many nurses have been in that situation, but the immediate aftermath of the shooting, being a healthcare provider, being a nurse, being a doctor, coming into the room, having family members, having your community be part of a congregation that just got shot up by a man, and he's still currently yelling, I hate the Jews, I want to kill the Jews, and you have to deliver care. Nurse of the Week does not cut it. You guys are nurse and healthcare providers, superheroes. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for what you have done, for what you are doing, for the strength, for the bravery you had to take care of a man that had destroyed families, killed others, and probably to this day hurting you and all the members of your hospital. Thank you so much for what you guys have done. I cannot imagine the pain, the agony it must have taken, the emotional roller coaster ride you must have went on to deliver care to this person. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are indeed the healthcare providers of the week, the nurses of the week. You guys are the kind of healthcare providers I want to be. So, yes, let's lighten things up. All right, we talked about the shooting. We talked about the mandate. Let's lighten things up just a little bit. So Halloween just ended. I literally just watched Jimmy Kimmel's yearly video of taking parents eating all the candies away. And I wanted to piggyback on that. Halloween just happened. Your kids went out trick-or-treating, and they've gotten bags, pillowcases full of candy. Literally, you have leftover huge candy bars in your house because you were passing out trick-or-treat to kids trick-or-treating, and you didn't finish all of the candy in the house. The question is, how do I get rid of all this candy without wasting it and throwing it in trash? Because that's a huge waste. I'm not going to let my kid eat the entire thing of candy because they won't stop until they finish. How do I get rid of this candy? How do I let my kid enjoy this candy slowly but surely and safely, right? And doing it in a healthy way, because sweets are good for the body. We love sweets. It's not good for the body. Sweets are yummy. They're delicious. We all enjoy having some sweets, but if you do it in the right way, it's not going to destroy your health. And here, I am going to help y'all parents out there, y'all siblings out there, you kids out there, how to eat your candy correctly on a daily basis so you don't destroy your teeth, destroy your health, okay? So according to the recommendations from the World Health Organization, free sugars, which are sugars from processed or refined foods, should be capped at 5% of your total daily caloric intake. When I did a quick some quick maths on the average, so I'm going to use a 10-year-old for these examples, but you'd have to do the math on your child's weight and all this stuff. It's a lot of math, but I assume that the average age of the trick-or-treaters are 10 years old. You might go up until 13, 14 years old, might be on the higher age. And then you might, as low as 2, 3 years old, parents are carrying their kids in strollers going trick-or-treating. So using a 10-year-old, we are going to go through 13 of Americans' favorite candies to see how much candy you should allow these kids to eat on a daily basis. And then based on their size, their weight, their height, their age, you can add a little more or take out a little more, take a little less from the pile of what they can eat on a daily basis. So let's go down this list, and I loved going through this. I think it's beautiful because you can quickly understand how much sugar is in these candies. And it is, surprise, it's a goddamn lot. Okay, so starting with the candies. So 2 fun-sized bars of 3 Musketeers a day is the caloric intake of sugar you should have if you're a 10-year-old child, right? An average 10-year-old in the US. It takes 2.8 fun-sized Butterfingers. Who likes Butterfingers? Ugh. But to each his own. If you like Butterfingers, 2.8 fun size, not actual bars, fun size bars of Butterfingers is your daily caloric intake. 16 candy corns. I think that's funny. Who the hell in the world is counting candy corns? But 16 candy corns is the limit for a daily intake. 5.5 Hershey miniatures. So those little ones, but 5.5 I think is a lot. I guess there's not that much sugar in Hershey's. So you can have like 2 with breakfast, 2 with breakfast, 2 for snack time, 2 with lunch, and 1 at dinner time. I think that's a lot. I feel like that's a lot. Even though they're miniatures, I still think that's a lot. Good for Hershey's for not putting that many in. 5.7 Kit Kat miniatures. I also think that's quite a bit of Kit Kat. Good for y'all. It takes 39 M&Ms. Again, no one in the world is counting 39 M&Ms, but they also added that you could have a fun-sized bag of M&Ms, which ends up being about 39. 5 mini Reese's peanut butter cups. And by the way, if you didn't know, Reese's peanut butter cups are literally, has been known as America's favorite candy. So 5 mini Reese's peanut butter cups. These chocolate candy bar types don't have as much sugar as I really thought, because 5 of the mini Reese's peanut butter cups, I know they're addicting and you just won't stop if you have a million in front of you. But as a parent, just give them 5. That's a lot. That's a lot. I feel like a lot of the parents are taking 1 candy bar per day, but you also have to understand at school, the teachers have bowls of candy on the tables and all that stuff. So that's probably the smarter way to do it. But 5 mini Reese's peanut butter cups is, I think, a lot. 27 Skittles. No one's counting goddamn Skittles. You're not going to cut a bag in half and count 27 Skittles. But you can also give them a fun-sized bag of Skittles, which has at least 12 candies. So you give them 2 fun-sized bags, and that should be a little less than the daily caloric intake, which I think is another win over there. So give them 2 fun-sized bags of mini Skittles. 3.2 fun-size Snicker bars. I love Snickers. When I was not a vegan, Snickers was my go-to, and I definitely ate more than 3.2 fun-size Snicker bars a day post-Halloween. So it's good to know. 14 Sour Patch Gummies, 8 individually wrapped Starbursts. I think the Starburst, that one is a little difficult, because if you buy the regular size Starburst, I'm pretty sure they come like 10 to 15 in there. So 8, I feel like, yes, it sounds like a lot, but it really, really is not a lot. 2.7 Twix Minis. So Twix is the highest sugar count for all the candies. I had known that. It wasn't one of my favorites. I definitely like a Twix, but it's nice to know. Twix, if y'all have Twix, and I don't see it too many, but Twix is super, super high in sugar. And then 4.5 Twizzlers per day if you have a 10-year-old. And again, you will have to do the math. But again, I'll repeat. It is 5% of your daily, total daily caloric intake. So for a 10-year-old, those are the numbers for America's 13 favorite candies that your kid probably has in their bag of goodies. But if you want to do it healthy, in a healthy way, give your kids portions of each. So give your kids 1 Twizzler, a Reese's Mini, and a Snickers Mini, and then let them go to school. But don't let them eat it all. Don't throw it away and waste it, because it's okay to have some goodies. Just do it in portions. They'll be happy. You'll be happy. You'll have snacks for the rest of the next 3, 4, 5 months. Question of the day. Please let me know in the comment section below. Halloween just ended. What is your favorite candy? Is it Reese's? Does America has it right? Nurses, I'd love to know what your favorite candy bar is. And if you have kids, what are they munching on today? Let me know. Moving on. So we already talked about the nurse of the week. Now we got to talk a little bit about the bad nurses. Sticking on that Halloween train, we're talking about a nurse that decided to wear blackface. God damn it. God damn it. It's 2018. I don't understand why people in 2018 still believe wearing blackface is something they can get away with. It is impossible with the amount of social media out there. The second you step outside of your house, and by the way, probably in your house while you're putting your makeup on or putting your costume on, and your boyfriend, your cousin, your roommate, your mom takes a picture of you, that shit goes viral and you end up fucking up in a huge way. Please, for the love of God, stop with the blackface. Stop with the blackface, all right? So, Shelby Heenan posted a photo of her in a racist costume to Facebook account on this past Monday, alongside her boyfriend, also in blackface. So they were dressed as Beyoncé and what is supposed to look like Jay Z. And look at this goddamn picture, y'all. Come on, come on. Jeez and Lord. Yeah, I just don't get it. So, ladies and gentlemen, understand, if you saw my costume this past Halloween, I was Negro Rick, all right? I was Black Rick from Rick and Morty. If you know the show, if you don't, here's a picture of me next to what Rick is supposed to look like. Rick is a black mad scientist, and he does all these... It doesn't matter. The point is, he's white. I just dressed up as him and was the black version of him. why don't you go get one of Beyonce's most iconic outfits, put that shit on and say, I am Beyonce. You don't have to be you don't have to paint your face, your entire body to be black, to dress up as Beyonce. Oh my God, I just don't get it. I don't understand why people have the urge, the need. I know that the black skin is a beautiful thing and you want to come and join us, but God damn it. It hurts, it's painful, and for those who don't understand, wait, before I even go there, let me at least tell you what the hospital said in response to this nurse in Missouri that decided to wear blackface and become Beyonce with her boyfriend. St. Luke's is the hospital she works at, and they said St. Luke's is deeply committed to our culture of diversity and inclusion. It is fundamental to who we are as an organization, and we vigorously protect it on behalf of all our patients and employees and expect those who represent us to do the same. She did get fired. She no longer works for St. Luke's, but she's a nurse. I feel so bad for these people, and when I say I feel bad for them, I don't feel bad for them like she shouldn't be punished, because I think she should, because it is deeply offensive. And for those who don't know why, but before I tell you why it's deeply offensive, the reason I feel bad for them is because they do it in such a celebratory way. And for the outside world who don't understand the history of blackface, they're like, why are people getting so upset? Because Beyonce is the biggest queen. She's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the planet Earth. And yes, I do agree. Why are black people getting so upset with the fact that she wants to be Beyonce for one goddamn day? Megyn Kelly said the same thing and she got fired from MSNBC. For you as a nurse to actually dress up, Megyn Kelly got fired because she was asking, why is it a big deal? For you to actually put on blackface and think you'll be okay, you're out of your mind, or you're just living under a rock. One of the two. But with that being said, if you don't understand why blackface, for the very few of you watching this, for the nurses watching this, for the people watching this, if you do not understand why blackface is indeed offensive, let me give you a mini clip of what people used to do when wearing blackface. This is an example from a minstrel show in the mid to late 19th century titled Cotton and Chick Watts. It is horrific, but just watch. Just watch what this show is supposed to be.
Cotton Watts and Chick. Lady, let that be a lesson to you.
What's the matter with you boys shooting up that man's hen house?
I'll shoot any chicken trying to follow me home.
Well, why don't you get a job and go to work?
You almost had me a job this morning.
Where?
I went down to the post office and asked that man, could he let me have one of them jobs as a letter toter?
No, Cotton, you mean a mail carrier.
And the man said before he could give me a situation, he'd have to put me through a simple self-examination.
No, stupid. You mean a civil service examination.
Well, the man carried me in a little room and set me down and started asking me a gang of questions.
Well, what'd he ask you?
First thing the man asked me is, how far is it from the sun to the moon?
He asked you how far it was from the sun to the moon?
Yeah, that's what the man asked me.
Well, what'd you tell him?
I told him if he was going to give me that route, I didn't want the job.
And the honest truth is, when making this video, I didn't know if I should show a clip from that movie or not. I don't know if it was going to do more or less harm. But the reason I wanted to is because every white person I talk to that is confused on the issue as to why are black people offended when I want to look like someone that I admire who's black and I paint myself black, is because there's a long history to blackface. And that long history to blackface includes that. I mean, anyone and everyone that's a decent human being watch it. If you're not an outward racist, a part of the KKK, if you're not an insane human being, which I think the vast majority of Americans are, you watch it and you say, holy fucking shit. You just say to yourself, I don't know how people would actually do that. And if you were confused by the thing, it's black and white, so it's hard for you to tell. The man is white. He has his entire body painted black, and that's why his lips are white. And the reason he left a lot of his lips be white, not just the actual lips, is because black people were meant to have huge lips. He was stupid. He's dancing around. The white lady's treating him like he's a piece of dirt, like he doesn't understand anything, and he's just a ridiculous. That is what Americans watched as entertainment. That was a popular show back in the mid to late 19th century. That is it. That is the reason it hurts so much when black people see white folks get into blackface. I know we're in a different time, but everything that we are doing today, the same goes with the N-word. All of this stuff has a history and it comes from somewhere. And the origin of blackface was that show, was those minstrel shows. That is the history of blackface. So for all of you nurses moving forward, please do not do what Shelby Heenan did. Please, even if you admire Beyoncé, LeBron James, whoever your black hero is, wear their jersey, wear a suit, wear their favorite costume, even put a name tag on yourself. Do whatever you want to do to dress up like all of your black superheroes. But for the love of God, do not put blackface on. It is disrespectful, it is hurtful, and it is smacking black people across the face, saying, I don't care what happened in the past. I want to put blackface and paint myself black so I can look like someone that I admire. And I know that's the way the majority of these white folks that put blackface on in 2018, that's the way they look at it. Because the honest truth is, the more racist you are, the more you know about blackface. And the more you know about blackface, you wouldn't do it out in public like that. Unless you're just purposely trying to be a troll. But on Halloween, it's always white folks that are ignorant to the issue. And I feel bad because they're ignorant. And I want them to know, I want them to learn why it's such a painful thing to black folks everywhere. I want them to understand why it's painful instead of them just firing them and telling them, off to the soul, we want nothing to do with you. Shelby, I'm sorry, you fucked up. I don't know if I was in administration at the hospital, I probably wouldn't have fired you. It's horrible what you did in 2018. If you fuck up like that, your face goes everywhere. In fact, she was the donkey of the day. But I wouldn't have fired you. I would have told you, you got to understand, you can't be that clueless to not know a week ago. It was literally everywhere in the news where Megyn Kelly got fired for asking why blackface is such a big deal. She got fired for asking why, and you decided to put blackface on. Horrific. I'm sorry, you lost your job. I'd love to have taught you the reason, suspended you, had you make diversity classes, do something, give back, go do something. But firing people, I think, is too much, especially if they're ignorant. Because it seemed, you look at the picture, if you looked at the caption, she's all about, I love Beyonce, I want to be Beyonce. But Jesus Christ, if you knew the history, you're disrespecting millions. You're disrespecting millions of human beings. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate this. If you guys were informed or educated in any way, shape, or form by these stories, please hit that like button. If you liked my presentation of the news, I really suggest you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every time Q the Nurse drops some hot, fresh press news. Thank you. Catch you next week. Deuces.